Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Riding Along with Dan. It's Wednesday. It's beautiful Wednesday. 50-something degrees here in New Jersey. It's a beautiful day, man. Thank you, everybody. First of all, I want to say thank you for liking and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to make it grow, trying to get more subscribers. And my goal is hopefully by June or July, I'll have 500 subscribers. Well, we'll see what happens. So, today we're going to talk about doing front loader, starting out front loader. I had a subscriber ask me a question about, how do you plan your route? Well, the first thing I would say to you is, whatever company you work for, they should be giving you a route sheet like this, okay? It's got your list of stops for the day, all right? And what I do is, when I start my route is, when I first got my route, it wasn't organized. I had to organize it. Then once I organized my route, I gave it back to dispatch. They sequenced it, gave it back to me. Now everything is ordered. I did that for each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so on. So let's say you leave your yard in the morning, okay? Well, let me start by saying you should take that sheet home, organize your stops. Like, let's say you go to a town like Dumont, New Jersey. You got 10 stops there. Organize your 10 stops in Dumont, New Jersey, like one after the other. You know your stops, you know your area, which ones work best for you, and put them in order. Then you move to the next town. Let's say you go to Northfield, New Jersey. I got 15 stops in Northfield. Let me bang those out real quick in order. Then move to the next town. I organize my route by towns, okay? This way it makes it easier for me. Finish up in that town, I'm done. Unless two things. You have stops that you need a key to open a gate. Sometimes your boss will give you a key to open the gate for the customer. Maybe you need to open the gate, roll the container out, and dump the can, put it back in, relock the gate. Maybe in that particular town there's a noise ordinance that you can't do any stops in that town until whatever time in the morning, maybe after 6, maybe after 7, who knows. But I would definitely take the route sheet home, organize my route into different towns, whatever towns the stops are in, okay? And second of all, once you organize your route and you know in your head where you're going to start, I'm going to do these stops, then go to the next location, do these stops, then so on, so on. Get it organized so you're more efficiently doing your route. And the second thing I would say is get to know your truck, whatever truck it is that you drive, and how well it packs, how many stops you can get on that truck before you have to go to the dump. Because I work my route, I know my truck, I know how many stops, I know how heavy my route is on whatever day. Always Monday's a heavy day, it's after the weekend. Tuesday's a little lighter. Wednesday, like today's a light day for me, okay? Get to know your route, get to know the stops. But organize your route in such a way that you're close to the dump when you need to go dump. You know what I mean? Don't go like 10 miles away from the dump if you don't have to. Leave those stops until after you dump your first load, and then go get those stops. Because number 3, another thing is you're wasting your time sitting there packing the load, trying to make room. You waste more time just trying to pack it. You're better off just saying, okay, got my first load on, let me fill out my paperwork, like I have to fill out my paperwork, time I left the route, time I got to the dump, time I left the dump, and the time back to the next stop. So don't waste your time sitting there packing a load. If you're pretty full, let it be. Go to the dump out your load, come back on the route, and start going again with your stops. Because it's so much easier with an empty truck. You just bang them out, keep going. You don't have to sit there and worry about packing the load and, trying to make room for the next stop. You're just better off going to the dump. And the second is, it depends on what time you start in the morning. Each company is different. I can start at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I know my towns. There's certain towns I cannot pick up until after 7 or after 6. And you gotta get to know your towns, get to know your area, organize your route, take the route sheet home with you, pencil in, okay, stop 1, stop 2, I'm going to do stop 3, and find out, from other drivers, if they ever did these stops before. Ask them, is there any stops that you will know of that I need a key? Usually the company, when they get stops, they have the same key, the same lock for every stop, okay? And also, you might have containers that might have chains on them, that you might need to open the lids. And, you'll figure it out as you go along. But most importantly is to figure out your route, where you're starting and where you're going to finish. And get to know the truck that you're driving, how much weight it holds, how much can you put on there before you got to go dump. Each company is different. Each truck is different. And if you're starting out on a Monday, take your time. Be safe. Always remember, biggest rule I tell everybody, look up. You gotta look up. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, it's dark out. You might not see those new wires that were installed on the pole, telephone wire, whatever the case may be. Always look up. Always be careful. Always look ahead. Always think about what you're doing. Don't be on the cell phone when you're driving, because doing a front loader job like any other CDL vehicle that you drive and roll up, don't be on the phone. Put the phone aside, pay attention to what you're doing, and be safe. Because the last thing you need to do is have an accident, then that goes against you, it goes against the company, and then your boss is going to have something to say. So be safe, just pay attention, and just go slow. I'm sure everybody gets paid by the hour. Go slow. If your boss would rather see you go slow and be safe than to have an accident. Because when you have an accident, then it costs him money, and then you're pissed off that it happened. So, yeah, that's my 3 big points on, routing your route. Is take it home with you, look it over, get to know your stops, the size containers. Do you need any key to open gates? And get to know your truck, how well it packs. And just be careful out there. Start out slow if you're just starting doing front loader. Maybe you have somebody riding with you, I don't know. But if you're on your own, just take your time. Take your time, know the stops, know your way into the stop. Know which way the container's facing. Maybe you're going down an alley behind stores. Maybe the containers are facing the opposite way. Get to know your stops. Get to know the wires above you. Get to know the area that you're working in. This way, a couple of weeks down the road, once you get to know your route, you're going to make good time. You know the stop. You know which way the container is facing. Okay, there's no wires overhead. I can just drive up, pick the can, dump it, and go. So, in the beginning, I stress, take your time, be safe. I mean, your boss really appreciate it. You appreciate it. And I'm taking the time today just to tell you this, because honestly, what I know is what you're going to know, because that's how I started out. I started out, honestly, my boss's yard. I worked for a company in Jersey City. I asked him, I said, hey, do you mind if I take the front loader and go in the yard across the street and pick up some empty cans? That's honestly how I started. Practicing dumping cans, practicing picking up the cans, putting the cans down easy, picking the cans up, because some places I go, yeah. Am I supposed to be there? I don't know. Are there houses around